What's going on, Fast Turn Radio watchers, listeners, replay catchers, gompers? What's up? It's Q4, and I hope everybody is as excited as I am. Um, it has been a great start to Q4. Sales are good. All right. Sales are doing very well. I'm happy with sales. But this is really not the time of year to get excited about sales. This is the time of year that you should be getting excited about the preparation for what's going to happen in about the next 5 to 6 weeks. So, been shopping just about every day. We have shipped every day except yesterday. There was a little snafu because my son needed to go to the doctor on Monday. I was not able to do any sourcing. So the teenagers, the minions, whatever you want to call them, they did a great job over the weekend. That's my two packers that come in to help. They did a great job over the weekend and got most of the stuff out. I finished up getting everything out on, Sunday, got it all packed, ready to go Monday. Well, then my son needed to go to the doctor, and therefore I didn't do any sourcing, had no product. Though we shipped on Monday, the stuff from the weekend, come Tuesday, there was nothing to send. So kind of dropped the ball a little bit. I was hoping to ship every single day of Q4 from, the beginning of October right on through about mid-December. I did some calculations. Oh, turn up the volume. Yeah, sorry. Hang on. There we go. Sorry about that. I was on Steven Peterson's. I'm glad you reminded me. Yeah, is that better? That should be good. Okay. I was on Steven Peterson's podcast. It should be coming out very soon. And he said my mic was too loud. So, Carol, are you on the screen? Hang on. Is there anybody on screen that shouldn't be? I don't see anyone. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get the technical stuff out of the way. Go back to speaker view. All right. So yeah, he asked me to turn my mic down, and I forgot all about it. So it was still turned down, but then it seems like you guys do or hear better when I have the gain turned up. So glad I could turn that up for you. Thanks for pointing that out. I think that was Kimberly. And yeah, guys, if there's anything if the mic's too low, camera's out of focus, just, put your hand up, yell at me, say, hey, dummy, you're kind of messing it up. So anyway, we had a plan to ship every day Q4 from October 1st right on through mid-December, kind of just hit a snag, and it happens. But, if you set what almost seems like unrealistic goals, like shipping every day for 3 months straight, might seem a little unrealistic. You definitely need some help with the prep in that case. But even if you don't quite reach it, that's still pretty solid. If you put the goal up here and you come in here, that's a long way above where most people are playing. And that'll put you kind of in a category all by yourself. I've decided, I was on a Scanner Monkey last week, and I decided when Jay asked me, what's your goal for fourth quarter? Well, there's a lot of ways to say what your goal is. You could say, I want to sell this much. I want to spend this much. I want to go blow through this many units, whatever it is you decide to do. And, as he asked me that, I said, I don't really have like a sales goal in mind. But yeah, Leron knows, he was listening. But I said, my goal is to have $200,000 sitting in my bank account on January 1st. Now, is that possible? I have no idea. I ran through some numbers after I said that, because I was like, man, is that even in the realm of possibility? And I looked at it, and it is. If I spend $1,500 a day, I started to say this, my cutoff date, because of how my disbursements come and the fact that it's taking about a week for everything to be live at the warehouse, it looks like my last day to ship for Q4 Christmas rush is going to be around December 14th. Our last disbursement prior to that is going to hit the bank on December 7th. So I won't really have any other money coming in. If we get everything shipped by the 14th, that leaves it a week to get live at the warehouse. That's the 21st, and gives us a couple of days to kind of sell through stuff. So that's where some of my numbers are lining up. And if we sell, or if I buy if I buy $1,500 a day between now and then, rough numbers, if I did that through the weekends and all that kind of stuff, you're looking at $45,000 a month spent roughly. 45,000 is 150,000 total spend. 150,000 total spend is 300,000 in sales, because we run roughly a 2x. So if we sell 200 or 300,000, Amazon takes a third as their cut. That leaves us about $200,000 at the first of the year. I know that's all very rough math. It's very fuzzy. Will it happen? Who knows? There are days I spend 1,000. There are days I spend 3,000. I have no idea if it's going to happen or not. But, you know, when somebody says, what's your goal? I would sure as heck like to look at my bank account on January 1st and have $200,000 sitting there. And once I ran through the numbers a little bit, I said, son of a gun, it's possible. Will it happen? Don't know, but it's possible. And I think that's pretty cool. Edie asked, where do most of your shipments go? Most of mine had been going to CVG in Kentucky. Now I'm in Georgia, so a lot of this is going to be relative. And it also kind of depends when you opened your account, I believe, because my in-laws, who live like 15 minutes down the road, ship to totally different warehouses than I do on a lot of things. So it's kind of crazy, but usually we go to CVG, and then we'll get some that goes to Phoenix on standard size. And yeah, that's Kentucky, CVG. And then oversized, we'll go to Philadelphia, Lewisberry, I think, like AVP. No, what? Yeah, Abe. No, ABE 3 maybe, PHL 5, and then Aunt 9 is for oversized. Shoes and clothing go to their own places. It's all over the place. But right now our standard size is going to Kentucky. And then today it just started going to Maryland, which I have no idea why our stuff's going to Maryland all of a sudden, but I'm okay with that. It's East Coast. I'm thinking it should only take a couple of days to get there. And CVG has been awfully slow. So I'm hoping Maryland is a little bit faster. Let's see. Jared says, most of mine goes to Kentucky. If I have too many of one, they start going to California. See, if that's one thing. If I have 18 or more, they all go or have been going to CVG 3. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. August, what's up, man? Yeah, he said, oh, he'll take Baltimore. Yeah, he's up in that area. That'd be like, an hour from his house or something. So that's cool. All right, before I get too far off track, there's really no set schedule for tonight. It really is just kind of a Q&A, whatever's on your mind. I'll do some ramblings about, kind of the last week, what I've seen, some of the trends, that kind of stuff. But if you have anything, throw it out there. But before I get too far into it, I would like to say, while I encourage you to do exactly what I did, and this came out of our Q4 Virgins group, which, if you guys don't know about it, it is a group run by the Young Guns that is specifically designed for new Q4 sellers. Okay, if you were selling MF last year in December, you don't qualify. If you were selling just a little bit in December, you don't qualify. This has to be your first Q4. We want people that don't know what to expect, and we can help them. Jessica says it's a pretty sweet group. I think it's on secret right now. Yes, it is. You won't find it. The only way you can get in is if one of us puts you in, and really we're not adding anyone. There are rare exceptions. I'm probably the nice one that will let people in more than the others. They're kind of funny. I'm just a big softie, I guess. I want to help as many people as possible. But anyway, something came up in the group, and part of it was, somebody said, can I do 100,000? And Harvey Specter said, it kind of depends on what your disbursement date is and where you're at and how long it takes to get to the warehouse. And I loved that answer, because that's what actually made me take a step back and go, what is my disbursement schedule? When is Christmas Eve, Christmas Day? Your sales will drop dramatically on December 23rd. It's just going to happen. People stop buying on the 22nd because the prime shipping is not going to get it there. So they either have to pay for overnight shipping, or maybe it's not even, maybe it's just not even a possibility. So anyway, that did make me take a step back, and I looked at my disbursement schedule, and it kind of stinks that my disbursement comes, my last one, on December 7th, because after that, I'm dead in the water. What are you going to do? If you get $50,000 or $100,000 or whatever, 10,000, 5,000, I don't care what your disbursement is, but if it comes on December 7th, there's not a lot you can do prior to Christmas. I mean, that's your last chance. So, I'm going to go spend the money, make as much as I can. But man, I would love a disbursement that comes out like, the 10th, the 12th, give me a few days in there. But, anyway, look at your schedule, understand what your timelines look like, know what you're going to be facing, and do not expect over retail to carry after Christmas. You're going to see this huge spike in over retail pricing. And I was doing some shopping today. I was keeping my eyes on things. I'm starting to get a feel for what the big products are going to be, at least in my opinion. Whether or not that plays out, I don't know, and I'm not buying until the time comes. But anyway, kind of have a plan, know what you're going to spend, know where that money's going to go, pay attention to what's going on in the stores, see where the shortages are, all that kind of stuff. And be ready. And when this over retail, that's what I was getting at. Jeez, my mind's going 8 different places. That over retail selling is going to be awesome right up until about the 20th, 22nd, right in there. And then it's just gone. So do not buy heavy at the last minute in over retail stuff. Know what your plan is. So I will buy some over retail with that December 7th disbursement, and I will have it in by the 14th, and I will have it hopefully live by the 21st, and we'll even push that if we can. But the next disbursement that comes on the 21st, it's all got to be after Christmas planning type stuff. Do not expect over retail to last after Christmas. It's this huge spike, and Christmas comes, and it's right back to normal. That's when you. Jessica says, Duane, I've heard the Q4 spike lasts through January. Is that not true? January will be heavier than October generally. Okay. Everything's kind of relative. We had a much better January than we did October. And I think January was actually very comparable to our November, might even beat November. We did 69,000 in December. We did 24,000 in January. We did, I think, somewhere between 12 and 15,000 in October, November. So, so it is better than the months leading up to the peak of the season, but you're not going to have the overinflated pricing. Okay. You need to have winter items still in stock because it's still winter. It's still cold outside. People are still going to need jackets and boots and hats and gloves and all that kind of stuff. But you're not going to have the over retail Doc McStuffins mobile cart price of $50 at the store selling for $100 in January. That's what I'm referring to. You are not going to have over retail selling taking place. You will have a lot of volume still, but it's got to be at retail price. So your wholesale stuff, be well stocked. Your replens, if you're selling over retail in September, yes, have lots of that in place in January. Those sales trends will continue, but everything reverts kind of back to the October, November versus the crazy December pricing. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. And if anyone disagrees, feel free to come on camera or put it in the chat room. I prefer you come on camera and tell me I'm full of it. But that's what I've seen in the couple of Q4s I've been through. And we've got some good discussions going on in the chat room. Karen, I don't know how to prove this, but I've heard it over and over, and I do believe it. A lot of Amazon gift cards get spent on things people want for themselves post-Christmas. That's true. You'll see returns for things that people got duplicates of or things they didn't want. Hopefully that's not yours. So they do the return and then they come buy your stuff. So that's a possibility. I've definitely seen an uptick in seasonal selling already. And I'm not talking just Halloween geared stuff. I'm seasonal being the wintertime. Wintertime products are already starting to move. Did some scanning yesterday, things that had no rank at all, that are winter-based kind of items. No rank at all a month ago are now at least in the 100,000s. Okay, people are starting to buy cold weather stuff, whether that's hot cocoa mix or it's a sweatshirt. Keep in mind, cold weather. Think about it. The seasons are changing very drastically in some places, not so much in others. I'm still sitting here in shorts and a t-shirt. It was 80 degrees today, but I understand that I am not the norm across America. Okay, everybody getting further north, they're getting cold fast. So anything that has to do with cold weather, it's there, and it's there in October, November, December, and yes, January. I sell the same boring stuff in March as I do in December. Well, yeah, that's John Chartier, and he's got a whole different business model than the rest of us. Let's see. And Michael had a good point. Let's see. Geez, if they don't fix this chat, it would be nice if they did. All right. Too many people dump prices the last week of December. They're afraid nothing will sell in January. I agree with dumping the stuff that is over retail the last week of December. You know, I mean, again, the frozen scooters that were $100 selling for $200 that you could sell almost instantly. You know, I forget what the rank was. It was under 100,000 in sports and outdoor. That's great. I don't want one of those after Christmas. So yeah, I would dump if I had those. And Mark asked, is that a buying opportunity? No, man. No, because over retail pricing sucks after Christmas. Now, I am not telling you to dump your inventory. You're gonna make a ton of money if you hold your prices at a good level and don't get too scared too early. But Cyber Monday is going to be the peak you're selling, I dare say. Now, you may see it a little different. Maybe you have some things that are geared more towards a last minute shopper. So there are people that will see a spike in mid-December that's bigger than Cyber Monday. Hang on. All right. Thank you to whoever caught their mic being on. that was rough. Yeah, you know, dump your over retail. But if you have things that are, you know, that you can sell and make a profit at MSRP, there's no reason to dump those. Yes, those will sell going into January. But yeah, the you know, frozen scooters, they're no good. They're no good after the Christmas rush. It's just not there. August said BB-8. Let's see, is that? And Bob says, I am selling my 2 pallets of knee boards. Going well and not even true Q4 yet, so that's awesome. How's BB-8 going to do? I have no idea. Man, that's a tricky one. You know, with Star Wars not actually releasing until December 16th, I think it is. I don't know what to make of Star Wars. I know supply looks plentiful right now. I know demand is going to be good, but are they going to have enough supply? Star Wars knows what they're doing, and they're starting to put the feelers out now. They know BB-8's big. They know Kylo Ren's big. They're going to have a lot of that stuff in stock. So I don't know. Robin Johnson talked about that on Scanner Monkey too, and I think she made a lot of valid points. I am working to get approved in Star Wars. I don't want to not have the option, but I am going to get approved and just see what happens. Again, I'm not going to go super deep on anything. I'm definitely not going to speculate on anything. I just want to be ready. Disney owns the merchandising heavily. They're going to be heavily stocked and possibly ships en route. Yeah, I'm sure they got stuff coming already. So, but yeah, Jennifer, there you go. Jennifer said, I like options. Exactly. You know, I like being able, I had no idea some of the backpacks I sold during back to school were actually luggage. I got approved in luggage just because it was easy. You know, it was one of those instant approval, you ask, they accept you. So I did it. I had no intention of selling Samsonite luggage, but, you know, I bought backpacks that happened to fall into the luggage category. Cool. You know, I'm glad I was approved. So I got those sales. So that's kind of how I'm looking at the Star Wars thing. It's not a big plan for me, but you know, I want to be prepared. If there is that one big thing that happens, I want to be able to take advantage of it. I saw like a $180 Kylo Ren lightsaber today, and the thing is ranked 16,000 in toy, and it's selling for $250. Now, when I say big, it is huge. So you're really not making much money. I mean, you're making like 20 bucks on a $180 toy. Now, is that going to be a $400 lightsaber in a couple of months? It might be. And if it is, I want to be able to buy it and flip it. But, you know, am I banking on that? No, not really. Yeah, there will be tons of merchandise available. There's no doubt about that. It's just, it depends what what people are searching for. So anyhow, we can go on about that, but there's not much more to say until we get more into it. All right. So the road to 500K, let's check in on that real quick, since John Chartier brought it up earlier. And hey, I like showing you guys what just anyone that's maybe new to the show, because I have started to reach a few new people. And thank you to the, 60 some that are here now. Let me flip back real quick. Yeah, we're up to 69 people. So thank you guys so much. But we do have some people that are a little newer to the show, may not know, but the road to 500K, this is not a pat myself on the back, look what I did kind of a thing. All right. The whole idea behind this was to show you guys, what does it take to run a $500,000 business? All right. That was it. It was to show you, we did well last year at 215,000. Michael Flanagan kind of threw down the gauntlet and said, let's all, in our mastermind group, let's all do 500,000 this year. I said, I don't know about that, but okay, sure, I'll try. And that's kind of evolved into this road to 500K. It is nothing more than for me to show you what's possible and tell you exactly how it's done, at least from my perspective. Now, other people are doing much higher numbers. Some are doing the same. They have different models, but I wanted to at least show newer sellers, you know, when you hear these $500,000, $1 million sellers or $250,000 sellers, and you get all enamored with that, you know, the kind of the truth behind the numbers, I guess, is what it was. And that was kind of the intention. So hopefully you guys are getting some good information out of it. But anyway, so the road to 500K is just simply my sales figures as best I can show you up to the minute, and kind of answer your questions about anything that is on your mind. All right. They've changed this dashboard so much. I want to make sure I'm not giving away too much information. So just kind of doing a once over before I start the screen share. Okay. Looks good. I think we're ready. And we're going to share the screen. Karen Holmes, Duane, are you going to Ecom Chicago? No, I am not. I cannot. For the last time, I can't believe they decided to have a conference in Q4. That blows me away. Now, if it's in your backyard, go for it. If it's taking 2 or 3 days of your to travel up and travel back and a couple of days spent there, I mean, you could very easily lose a week in Q4. For me, that's not a fair trade-off. It doesn't make sense. But again, if it's 2 hours from your house, yeah, absolutely go to it. If you want to fly across country and go to it, don't. I got some nasty little messages saying, I can't believe you said not to go. I'm not telling you not to go. I'm telling you I'm not going, and this is why. And that's how I do everything, or at least I try to. I don't try to tell anyone what to do. I tell them what I do and why I do it. If you choose to agree with me, cool. If you choose to disagree, that's cool. I don't get mad one way or another. So, you know, if you want to spew some venom, or you want to get a little nasty with me, that's up to you. But I think it's kind of silly to have a conference in Q4. I think it's silly to attend a conference in Q4 if it's going to take away too much from your business. That doesn't mean you shouldn't go. It means I wouldn't make that trade-off, and my business depends on me being here. Okay. So I kind of need to be here. Some people are in a different situation. Greg Murphy is a great example. That guy could probably step away for 2 weeks, maybe even a month, and his stuff's going to churn because he's got employees in place that know what they're doing. They're cranking along, doing a great job. He has truly built a business. I'm still working on that. we're all in different places. All right. Anyway, let's share the screen one more time. Make sure I'm not missing anything. Here we go. All right. So hopefully you guys see the numbers. I do like to start on the dashboard. It's really not for anything other than this right here. I like to show you this is what's really going on in our business right now. 7-day, we're looking at 13,600. 15-day is 24,600, and 30-day is 49,400. So we're just under 50,000 for the last 30 days. But if you look at the 7-day, that's 13,000 times 4 is 52. So we're actually trending up a little bit this week. We were down a little bit last week, so it kind of makes sense. We will jump right into the reports. Business reports. See how our day is looking. Oh, $1,470 on the button. You see we did 24.45 yesterday. So yesterday was a very good day. And I kind of expect us, at this point I expect us to hit $1,000 every day. The good days are 2,000. The so-so days are the 12 to 1,500. The really good days are the 3,000. That's kind of where our business is at. That's kind of the, so that's what I watch for. $1,500 days puts us really close to $50,000 a month. And I think that's the level that we're at. KIB said, look at that pathetic day last year. Thanks, Karen. Love you too. Yeah, it was pretty bad. So when people say, can I do 100,000 in Q4? And I say yes, and I see the money that they have, and I know the money that we had, and we had days where we did 173, and guess what? We did 100,000 in Q4 last year. I know it can be done, and it's not that outrageous because it just all lines up. We did 69,000 in December. That means in October, November, to have a $100,000 Q4, all we had to do between those 2 months combined was $31,000. December took care of the rest. That's just, it's very simple to get there with the boost that you get in December. And that's hard to explain to somebody who hasn't been through it. But yeah, the 1 million in 2016. Look, Michael Flanagan already throwing down 1 million. Leron throwing down 1 million. Same sales, just higher ASP. That would definitely be one thing. That's something I think it's important for people to understand. If you want to do 500,000, and let's go ahead and look. We can do. Let's do year to date. All right. Way, look at that. We broke 300,000. Sweet. So we're at 300,000, and that's good. Going into the heart of Q4, where you can double what you've done prior to that, we are well on our way to somewhere between 500,000 and 600,000 in sales. Last year total, we did 215. But up to this point, this is a much more pertinent figure in my mind. Up to this point last year, let's look at the year over year. Okay, we have done 104,000 to this point right now. Right, a year later, we are triple that. We're at 303,000. Okay, we have tripled our business. My goal was to do about 2 to 2.5 times. We did 215. Little over 2 puts us at the 500,000 mark. Yeah, if we run triple, I mean, that puts us more in the. If we were able to triple what we did, you're looking at 645,000. 645,000. Excuse me, 645,000 for the year. So, yeah, we're well on our way to doing maybe 600, maybe even more. Maybe 200,000 in the bank is a possibility at the end of the day. We'll see. If nothing else, it's a fun ride. So anyhow, I can tell you what a $300,000 business looks like. I can't tell you what a $500,000 one does yet, but check back in January. I'll be more than happy to show you. This is one Oh, almost scrolled too far, didn't I? I hate that they've changed some of this stuff. I got to be careful what I show you. All right, I'll stop right there. You guys can see some of the categories I've sold in, the quantities I've sold in, I don't know, just the overall snapshot of what your business is going to look like if you want it to be to this point, at least the way I've done it. Okay. Now you could sell in 2 categories and still hit these kind of numbers. You could sell just shoes and probably hit these kind of numbers if you know a lot about shoes and you want to do that. I took the different approach. I did a little bit of everything. There's not a category I am approved for that I have not sold in, I don't believe, including the one automotive part that I have sold still. It's the only automotive thing I've ever sold. Daniel Kretz, are you secretly buying in the baby category? Yeah, I've sold 40 whole baby items. But you know, it accounted for $2,000. For anyone that doesn't know, I love babies. I hate baby. I cannot stand the baby category. It is so hard to read. But yeah, that's but still, and there's a couple thousand in sales, probably about $400 in profit. I'll take it. Yeah, Ron said the baby items should have been listed in automotive. Yeah, no doubt. I do not intentionally sell baby stuff. I did sell some like light covers or socket covers the other day that I got for $1 piece, and just I bought them for $1 a piece, and I think I sold them for like $7, and they were just to put me over $35 on an order from Amazon for the stuff I really wanted, and those fell under baby, so it happens. Oh, you know what? It just occurred to me what most of that baby is. Karen knows. That would have been the liquidation stuff that we teamed up on. Aha, that's right. Okay, let's get to some questions. I'm not going to go through the month to date because essentially that's where we're at. I mean, I can put it up here, but week to date and month to date, all the same. There you go, 13,000 on the week. You saw that in the original snapshot. All right. Any questions on the actual numbers? Otherwise, I'll just kind of leave that for now and get back to the regular screen and answer whatever questions you guys have. Any questions? Nope. Okay. We're going to leave the numbers. Road to 500K is almost in the bag, unless something unforeseen happens, which we just keep our fingers crossed that that doesn't happen. All right, Grace asks, Duane, would you say that RA helped you get closer to your 500K goal, or is it RA and wholesale? Grace, I would say the RA is the big boost that has taken place since June. Our numbers were running about 20,000 a month, and then after I went sourcing with a couple of the young guns in June, we quickly boosted to 30, and then quickly boosted to 30, and that was in large part due to RA during June and July. And then in August, that was our biggest month so far. We did 63,000, and that was a combination of wholesale for the back to school stuff and RA. Okay, both of those came together for a great month in August because I had a good idea from last year what I wanted to do wholesale. And I did that, and it executed pretty much according to plan. There's always a few hiccups. You know, I wish I would have bought more of this and not quite so much of that. That happens. It's hard to forecast sometimes. But that's, that happens. Anyway, with wholesale and RA coming together in August the way it did, it was a beautiful month. 63,000. That was second only to our December 2014, which was our biggest month ever. The past month was 49,000. That was carried heavily by RA because wholesale for us in September is not a big, I don't have that big wholesale push, you know, oh, that's the product I want to sell, or this line picks up that time of year. It's just not there. Halloween, there's a lot of opportunity for wholesale that I did not take advantage of. So you're not going to see that. So October is going to be carried largely by RA. Now, come November, December, you're going to see it both come together again because I have a great plan for what I want to do wholesale-wise going into November and December, and we're going to go heavy into that stuff. But RA is just, I mean, there was no better time to do RA than late November, early December. It's just the stores are full of stuff selling over retail. So yeah, RA is a big reason. And RA, I talked about this with Steven on the show, and it kind of caught me off guard because I didn't prepare for the show at all, even though he sent me like this checklist to read through. I don't do that kind of stuff. Just not my thing. So every question was like out of nowhere. I was supposed to have answers prepared. I didn't have anything prepared. I had no clue what he was going to ask. And so he said, you moved away from RA into wholesale, but now you're going back into RA. What's changed? And what's changed is when I did RA the first time, I was doing it by myself. I was in the stores by myself looking for products. And, if I hit a home run, I told my wife, Angie, about it. And I said, hey, look at this. And she's like, yay. Okay. She got as excited as she could, but you tell somebody I just saw wiffle ball bats on sale for $1 each, they're only going to get so excited. But when you have a group of people that you can share that information with, you get to share the excitement, okay? And they truly get it. Then you get to see someone like Agu. So you're like, hey, I just went to this store and found this product. It's awesome. They had 10 of them. And the next thing you know, he's sending you messages from the road all talking about, okay, I'm at the store. Where exactly is this thing at? It's like, man, I just posted that like literally 10 minutes ago. He's like, yeah, I know, man. Where's this thing at? When you have somebody like that you can feed some leads to, suddenly you're not working by yourself. It's not the lonely RA that it was when I started a couple of years ago. I feel like I'm kind of part of a team. We all share information. We share fun. We have a good time sharing our picks. When I would take pictures in the beginning, of course I wasn't going to show my products because, oh my God, what if somebody actually saw something I'm selling? That would be the end of the world, right? Now it's like, hey, look, the van's full, the whale, as it's called. My kids call it the whale. I can take a picture of the whale being full, share it with these guys, and they're like, awesome, I'm going to buy it too because that looks great. Or they shoot back a picture and go, yeah, that's what my car looks like, and it's filled, a lot of the same stuff or whatever. It's just a lot of fun when you're not by yourself. And so we joke around a lot, we pick on each other a lot, but we encourage each other more than anything. And we talk about stuff totally non-business related, but that's when this business becomes kind of what's missing, I think, a lot of times, which is we work so much independently that you lose those connections with people, right? You miss the water cooler talk at work, the camaraderie that takes place. You don't really have a lot of that, but if you find the right group of people, it comes back around, and suddenly this job that we have, it becomes fun again. And so that's kind of why it's not that I've seen the light with RA. I mean, I've always known that it's a good way to make money. I just got burned out on it because I was tired of doing it by myself. Now I don't have to do it by myself. Now I have a whole group of people that I work with in different parts of the country that I get excited for, and they get excited for me, and it changes the whole dynamic. If you are trying to keep secrets from everyone around you, good luck. There's a reason I don't mind showing you my numbers up here. No, I don't want to show you the products I'm selling. I do have some people that are on every single wholesale item that I'm on because I truly believe they went through my store and spent hours researching. If that's how you want to spend your time, you can do it. I'm easy to find. I'm out there. I'm not paranoid about you finding my stuff. I'm not going to give it to you. I'm not going to make it easy for you, but I know it's there. If you spend your life paranoid that somebody's going to see what you bought or know your store name, this job would drive you crazy. So I'm in a group with a lot of people that I enjoy talking to. I'm in actually 2 groups that I enjoy sharing information with. And that makes this a fun job. Best job I ever had. Making more money than I ever made anywhere else. And it's been awesome. John says, you mean I shouldn't tell people I sell? I won't even announce it. You had to be here live if you wanted to see what John's selling. Yeah, no, John, you tell people what you sell, man. Bob Willie did it earlier talking about knee boards. Tell you what, that's it. Market's going to crash tomorrow. You didn't know? That's nail in the coffin right there. No, it's not. I mean, you don't want to there are times to keep things quiet. definitely. There are times that you don't want necessarily 5,000 people knowing about this product because it's just too readily accessible and the market could crash. But if you've got 4 or 5 people, or in my case, I'm lucky I have about 10 people in between the two groups that I can show without hesitation or reservation what I'm doing, get feedback from them, and just sharing the experience, makes this job a whole lot of fun. And so those days, maybe you don't feel like hitting Walmart, you go, man, but I'm going to catch it later from these guys if I don't. And you get your butt up out of bed and you go hit Walmart. Jessica, great question. What kind of hours have you been working this Q4? I have no clue. Yeah, definitely less than August. There's no doubt. Goose is working harder than any 6 people I know combined, and I know some hardworking folks. I don't know. I'm probably only doing 8 to 10 hours a day right now. It's not overkill. The long days of 12, 14, 16 hours, those probably won't start really until probably until November. So yeah, Leron said slacker. I am. So I'm not killing myself right now, but there are days, and I've made the post where it was like 11 o'clock at night and I realized I was just making dinner because I, started working at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. Now I don't start at 6 o'clock in the morning right now. I'll tell you that for sure. I'm still making sure I get plenty of rest in the morning, but yeah, I might start at 9 o'clock in the morning and then at 11 o'clock that night go, crap, I forgot I haven't eaten since I had those couple of eggs at like 10 this morning. It's 11 o'clock at night. You make some shrimp and grits, which I never liked shrimp and grits before, but suddenly my wife figured out how to make them and they're delicious. You make shrimp and grits at 11 o'clock and you're up till 2, and then you start it all again the next day. But those are the rare days right now. That's not every day. Edie says, you're working smart, not hard. Nah, Edie, that's a way of saying you're being lazy, but you're being nice about it. No, I'm not. I'm just not killing myself right now. I know there's plenty of that to come. I'm actually going to do some packing when I get off the show because my minions did not show up today the way they were supposed to. So I have a garage full of stuff, and I'm supposed to go on probably about a 6-hour sourcing trip tomorrow. It would be longer than that, but I have to pick up my son at 2. So I have a solid 6-hour sourcing trip. I got to get this crap out so that I can have stuff going to UPS while I'm out shopping. That's the kind of thing. That's what's getting to me right now. It's not really the number of hours I'm working as much as how much stuff just seems like it all needs to be done at once. That's getting to be a bit much. All right. No, I'm sorry. I'm seeing the chat fly by, but yeah, seeing John's thing again. Michael says networking is a huge part of my plan for hitting 1 million next year. Yeah, networking is absolutely vital. Picking on August about his rice maker. Yeah, where was it? I saw something. Lucky you got eggs. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to bust open the Halls. You're right, man. You said Halls candy for dinner most of the time. Yeah, sometimes you just got to bust open some of the product. I was trying to sell Halls for a while. That was a bad idea. Hopefully you guys have better luck than I have with it. Jessica says we need to send you some granola bars. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I really do need. I need like in the package, easy to get, don't have to take time cooking. Don says I need to hook up with a group. Very lonely down here. Doing this by myself. I know what you mean. Yeah, it is a very it can be a very lonely existence if you don't have a group to share with. I will tell you that. There's no 2 ways about it. If you are doing this by yourself, it'll wear on you. So definitely find some people to talk to. There, Jared said, Don, I'm in the same boat. And I'll tell you this. This is another thing that has occurred to me recently as I've started to think about why we're 3 times higher than we were. 3 times higher than we were last year. And Karen just pointed out, or I just remembered she pointed out, we are $2,000 above where we finished October last year in the first week. That's insane. Sorry, total off the wall side note there, but holy cow, I just saw my numbers still sitting up on the screen. Okay. keys to a good mastermind. You gotta trust each other. I've always said that trust is first and foremost. Also, similar business models I have found very, very helpful. Okay, if one guy's business model is all OA and yours is retail arbitrage, while you guys can share some good information, you're not going to be able to get the full benefits of having that person that you trust in your circle, because they're doing OA and you're doing RA. Now, if you're going to be able to cross paths where, okay, he's going to share stuff and now you can order that online and he doesn't mind. Okay, there we go. I kept hearing something. I thought it was me, but it was somebody's mic was unmuted. Sorry. If this guy's doing OA and you're doing RA, he can maybe share his OA with you, but unless he has the same stores, he can't really do RA. You know, he can't take advantage of what you're finding. You're not going to mesh quite the same way. So trust is first and foremost, but then similar business models, I think, plays a big part in it. So that, and having similar stores that you can source, I think, are a big part of it. So when somebody says, hey, I just found this over here and it's ranked under 1,000 and I can only get 10 of them or even 100 of them, go get as many as you can find. That's a big help. That is huge to your business. And that's, so it's a combination of trust, just general chemistry between yourselves, similar sourcing methods, similar stores to source at, and geographically, hopefully you're not sitting on top of each other. You know, I had some Savannah people mention how great it would be to hook up and go sourcing. No, it wouldn't. You know, Darren Morehouse, love you, buddy. I'm not going sourcing with you. It's not because I'm trying to keep anything from you, but we are literally sourcing in the same stores. I am not going to show you what I'm sourcing, and I don't expect you to show me what you're sourcing. Don't show your competition, which at that point, whether you want to be or not, you are competition. That is not the right kind of person to have in your group. Now, somebody that is 2 states over, sure, that's a good person to share some stuff with. So just be a little smart about it, and you know, and talk. Put yourself out there. You know, somebody asked me or made a comment when they said, what OA are you doing? I said, well, I don't really do any online arbitrage, but when somebody says buy this, I just go do it. You know, that's how I do online arbitrage. And Leron said to me, yeah, Leron has fed me all kinds of deals where he'll just pop up out of nowhere and be like, hey man, you want to go in on this? Yes, I do. Leron has good stuff. He's a smart guy. I want to get in on deals that he finds. And somebody made the comment and said, well, I wish people would give me deals like that. Well, put yourself out there. Give people information. They'll actually give it back, you know? So, you know, it just, nobody's going to look you up and go, oh, hey, John, I don't know you at all, but here, why don't you go buy some of this too? You know, you got to network. You got to get to know people, and don't expect anything from them in order to get those kind of perks. And they are perks. I mean, that is the perk of putting yourself out there, is people will reciprocate and give you information. John says he knows a guy that will sell me some flags. Very cool. Maybe I'll have to look into that. July 4th, I'm sure that would be a big business to be in. So anyway, that's a little bit of what's going on. Oh, let me give you some tips in case you didn't catch it in the Facebook post that I put out there. I finally got around to ordering these 1,600 free shipping labels from UPS. All right, this is good stuff to have. UPS item 01774501. 1,600 of them. Now right there, that's like 400, but I've got more in the case. Yeah, I was told for a long time to get those for free, and I just kept putting it off and putting it off. And then finally, I made the phone call, and it took like literally 5 minutes. And I had labels coming, shipping labels, any kind of pouches that they have that you might want, boxes that like little 8x10 and 10x13 boxes. So they're good for like bundles, or if you have, you know, some smaller products that you want to send in, but be more protected. Those are good to have. So that's all free from UPS. So that's one thing that I finally did, was get some free supplies. The other thing that I finally did after all these years, and Bob Willie is one of them that's been telling me, and that's why I thought about you, Bob, when I finally did it. I finally got UPS Connect. So the UPS man now shows up at my door every day versus me having to spend even just a few minutes driving downtown to drop off boxes. And it's truly gotten to the point where I would have to hook up the trailer to take boxes some days. They wouldn't fit the van. Just no two ways about it. Even if it took the middle seats out, just not happening. Bob says, fantastic. I thought you'd be happy about that, Bob. He's been riding me really for, I think, 2 years now to get UPS pickup, whatever they call it. But yeah, so as much as I love the ladies at the UPS store, I am more than happy to see UPS pull up in my driveway every day. Your UPS guy must be freaked out for pickup. Nah, he's pretty aware of what's going on. He knows what to expect. And actually, he gave me a hard time today because, the garage, only half of it's full. He's like, hey, it's looking kind of sparse in there. You need to get some more stuff. Maybe order a couple of pallets. I don't know. But yeah, so he was ribbing me. He likes it when he comes like Monday and we fill up his truck. That was fun. He showed up with an empty truck and he left with a full one. That was all right. But anyway, so a couple of things I just want to mention about UPS. Agu said, what are you going to do with your Dymo labels? Dude, it's all backup. I have backups to my backups. I talked about that last week. There is so much stuff that I have different ways. There is no reason for me not to be able to print anything. My shipping should not slow down. There's just no reason that I should have any kind of hiccups whatsoever during Q4. So that's what the Dymo labels will do. They'll just sit there and order. Of course, if we hit the road between now and December, which I'm hoping we do, August, of course, I'll bring the 4XL and we'll be using those shipping labels from the road. Jessica says, that sounds excessive, but you're probably doing a lot better than me. Yeah. Oh, to John. Okay. All right. Yeah, I was going to say the backup stuff. The only thing I don't have a backup of, and it hit me the other day, is my scale. If my scale went out on me, I'd be in trouble. So I need to order one of those. But yeah, you do not want to be stuck without poly bags or craft paper or boxes. So make sure you have plenty of supplies. You don't want your scanner to go out on you. I've got a backup scanner. It's actually sitting right there on the shelf, ready to go. I've just got more than I could possibly need, and it's probably still not enough. Oh, Jessica, yes, Bubble Fast has a 10% off discount right now. You can always get 5% with the discount code Fast Turn, but right now, if you use discount code October, you get 10% off. That is awesome. So thank you, Mark Levine, and thank you, Jessica, for reminding me about that. I'd forgotten about it. I saw you post that in the Q4 Virgins, and I meant to pass that along, but I forgot. So I'm glad you were here. Bob says FBA gives you 10% all the time. I did not know that. Awesome. So all kinds of tips coming out. So yeah, guys, get your supplies in place. All right. You do not want to be sitting on top of inventory that needs to ship because you don't have XYZ. Make sure you have more than you could possibly use. All right. Because you'll use a lot of it. And poly bags don't go bad. So you always have them next week or next year, excuse me. So anyway, all right. Enough rambling. That's about an hour of stuff. Hopefully you got at least a few good nuggets here and there. I feel like I never actually say anything, but I talk for an hour anyhow. So I truly hope you guys got some information out of this, a few nuggets here and there. If there's anything you want to know specifically, let me know. I'm always available. I try to be anyway. The show is really about you guys. The reason I do this is because I want to give you the opportunity to ask me questions. I want you to see what it takes to get to the kind of numbers that I'm getting to. And, it's all about you guys. If you guys aren't asking questions, if you guys aren't interested in what I'm doing, tell me. I'll do what you need me to. And, just seriously, it's all about you. Duane, got a chocolate wholesale order and it came in a box. Hang on. Daniel's saying something. Came in a box with a styrofoam lining. Is it okay with Amazon to leave the styrofoam in there for better heat protection? Yeah, Styrofoam's no problem. The only thing you can't use is shredded paper and the little styrofoam peanuts, because those get everywhere. But I assume you're talking about like blocks of styrofoam. Is that correct? Or if the styrofoam is contained, so it's like your box of chocolates are inside of a sealed box that has packing peanuts in it, as long as that's never going to be opened, that's not a problem. The issue comes in if you have packing peanuts, then Amazon's going to open that, it's going to go everywhere, it's a mess. That's what they don't want to deal with. So no, as long as it is just solid styrofoam, I believe that's no problem whatsoever. I've sent a lot of stuff that's definitely got styrofoam packing inside. If anybody knows, please tell me. But I think blocks of styrofoam are just fine. The styrofoam peanuts, or the little, whatever they are, little packing peanuts, not so much. Mark Linsendorf says, selling Halloween candy, Duane. Man, I can't tell you everything I'm doing. Come on now. But I will say this, if you're not selling Halloween candy, you're missing out. Come on, it's freaking Halloween. You better be selling some candy. Jeez. Yeah, it's like, come on. John Chartier says, I don't sell candy. Well, you don't have to. That's up to you. But, if you want to add a few dollars to your bottom line, you might want to think about it. All right, guys, we are right at an hour. I really do want to buy a flag. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. See, I'm watching Goose. Goose is not only in the chat, he's also popping up on my Facebook right now. He's one of the funniest people I know. That dude's hilarious. All right, guys, I got to go pack some boxes. Hopefully, again, you got some tips. Oh, wait, Daniel's got one more. Jeez. Would you send in a multiple order on Thursday, or better wait until Monday? No, I'd ship multiples all day, every day. No, I'm not waiting until Monday. Nope, I'm selling them. If they sit at a warehouse somewhere, I hope they don't melt. That's just me personally. I'm not going to sweat it. And Bob says, good night, everybody. So good night, Bob. Good night, everybody. Hope you guys have a great week. We will be back next Wednesday to talk a little more, see where things are headed. And hopefully, we'll have some better numbers for you. And things will start picking up soon enough. But right now, good for Halloween. Start getting those cold weather products in place, and you're going to have a good Q4. So until next week, everybody have a profitable week, and we'll talk to you later. Night, guys.